last night on the Sports Mix.
Speaking of recipes for success, Chef Boyardee was back in the kitchen. He is cooking, and he has got some new recipes for you folks. Let's check them out right now.
Hey, down here. Tired of being a fat and ugly? Same. Welcome to Recipes for Success with G-Man. All right, boys. First up on the docket, we got the Lucas Cubs hosting Independence. First off, last week I was at Lucas. You know, they have a very, very good offense. You know, they run the ball very well. But first off, they're going to need a little bit of that milk in that clock. This team does a great job of this, running the ball. You know, doesn't give the opportunity to the defense to be able to stop them. And milking that clock is going to go a huge way for the Lucas Cubs. Secondly, line of scrimmage. The Cubs will their way at the point of the attack with their offensive line and defensive line. So for them to win this one at home, they're going to need a little bit of the line of scrimmage. And lastly, those playmaking backs. Ethan Sauter, Ethan Wallace, all those Sauter backs and all those Lucas Cubbies, they need all of it on Friday night. And put a little bit of that into your mixing bowl. After that's all in your mixing bowl, take it over to the baking section and put this one on high heat. You're good to go. As we wait the first concoction to be done, we start with our second bowl. Let's put these fine ingredients away and bring out our next one. Our second game of the week is the East Knox Bulldogs hosting Shadyside. The Bulldogs are going to need a little bit of Weston Mielek to get that W on Friday. Kid does it all in the receiving game, blocking, and defensively. Definitely going to need him for a victory. Secondly, Peyton Lester. Bulldogs QB's done it all this year. He's had an amazing year with passing and running the ball, and he also starts a corner to help out that defense. And lastly, speaking of the defense, the East Knox Bulldogs defense is serious. A little bit more of that defense in there, sprinkled in with the defensive line and line of scrimmage, and that'll get you a dub against Shadyside. Psych! On that over to your bowl, baby. Put it on high heat. That's an East Knox W. After you let that puppy bake for a week and a half on 350 heat, your bowl's gonna turn a different color. But don't worry, you're all good. And here's the final product. Some nice, beautiful, flavorful chips, barbecue seasoned. That is a Cubs win and a Bulldog win. Good luck this weekend, and tune back next week for Recipes for Success with G-Man and Storm.
Always appetizing with our man, G-Man, and hopefully he's got some bounce-back recipes this week. Didn't go so well for the two local schools that he cooked up some concoctions for last week. He did say that the Lucas Cubs, he had a formula for their success. We caught up with their head coach, Scott Spittler, just a few moments ago. Let's check it out. All right, we've got Scott Spittler joining us now, the head coach of the Lucas Cubs, making their 7th consecutive playoff appearance. So, Coach, it's that second season now out there in Cubs country. Tell me, what does it mean to you to continue to build this tradition, get back in the postseason, and keep getting these dubs?
Well, you know, the big thing is 5 months ago we were wondering if we'd even have a season. And so getting the opportunity to have a season meant a lot to me for my seniors. We've got a great group of seniors that have provided a lot of good leadership and been an integral part of the success we've had the last 3 or 4 years. And so it was important that they get this opportunity. And, you know, the expectation level has been set by the class before them. It seems like we have that tradition of leaving that legacy of expectation, and they're trying to rise up and meet that expectation level.
6 straight games on the road. You get to play in the friendly confines for the first time. You guys, of course, you got that place rocking. What was it like for you on Friday night when you guys took the field until that final whistle?
Just to see the faces of the players, and then just kind of how you could just read it on their faces, and then kind of that extra pep in their step. when they took the field to start pregame, warm-ups and things, you could just tell that there was just a different atmosphere and different feel for them because of being at home. And then we feel like we've got a really special environment up there on the hill, especially in the fall with the changing of the leaves and everything. And but they would also tell you that it was kind of quiet because we're used to having standing room only there at Bob Wine and Lucas Stadium. So, but it was really nice to get back home, and it was really special for our seniors. And then they went out and played probably a well of a game. I mean, you had Ethan Sauter led us in rushing, and you had Goose Wallace with 2 scores and a 2-point conversion, and then Lane Harper, our senior inside linebacker, led us in tackles. So our seniors really came to play Friday night.
Yeah, it was a nice performance. It took you a little while to get going, but once you did, 35-0, you took care of Cuyahoga Heights. And there's no secret what you guys want to do offensively. It's ground and pound, wear out the opponent. What do you think is the secret sauce for you guys where the opponent knows it's coming, but they still can't do anything about it, Scott? Why can't teams stop you?
Well, I don't know if there's such a thing as they can't stop us, because we've definitely had those situations in time here. But it's about the mentality of establishing the line of scrimmage, and it all comes down to the execution of our offensive line versus their defensive front. And if we can out execute them, then it's going to be a good night. If not, we're going to have difficulty. But we've got total buy-in from the Pee Wee all the way up to our varsity squad, and so our kids expect and have that foundation, in their level of play as far as execution on our offense. So we execute what we do really well because of that. All the way up from second grade till they're in varsity, they're running the same play, so that helps us.
Give me a quick scouting report on Independence. They got to come to your place on Friday night. What do you need to limit or take away from them in order to be victorious again?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a team of a lot of length and height, and it seems like everybody on their roster is 6 foot to 6'4", and about anywhere from 185 to 210. Long and lean and very athletic. Their skill position athletes really remind me of what Ontario can put on the field as far as at the wide out, tight end, and running back, quarterback positions. And then up front, long and lean and move really well. They want to spread you horizontally and vertically. So we're going to have to do a very good job of keeping things in front of us. They're very multiple formation-wise, do a lot of shifting and motioning. So getting pre-snap alignments is going to be key. And then we've got to establish the line of scrimmage on the offensive side and take care of football.
Well, the weather, of course, is changing. It's going to be another chilly one on Friday night. Any chance we see you trade in the cargo shorts for some long pants on game day?
Absolutely not.
No change there. Why break tradition if it's working, right?
I think my kids would panic if they saw me in anything other than khaki shorts, because I don't know. That's just that's every coaching staff I've been a part of. We've always wore the khaki shorts with our coaching polos and stuff, and I'm one of those big guys that could sweat in a snowstorm. So we're going to stay with them.
Well, hey, I mean, if it's working for you, Coach, and no sense in changing up the fashion now, Lucas Cubs looking to move on to the regional semifinals once again when they take on Independence on Friday night. Their head coach, Scott Spittler, joining us right now. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
At Lacey Construction, they understand that finding the right company for your home improvement needs can be very stressful. The professionals at Lacey Construction can help alleviate that stress. Quality materials, professional employees, and they offer great financing options along with 1 year of interest-free financing. So now is the very best time to get those energy-saving new windows, insulation, and vinyl siding installed. Call Lacey Construction at 866-266-9916.
We are uniting Park National's family banks under one name to serve you more.
This bank's about service to the community. I mean, your customers become your family, and by and large, you become their family.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff football.
Kissel's Lawn Care. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
Welcome to Bob Wine Field in Lucas. Tonight, it's the Division VII Regional Quarterfinal between the Lucas Cubs and the Independence Blue Devils. We welcome you to the iHeartRadio High School Football Game of the Week presented by Pediatric Consultants of Ashland and Mansfield. Aaron Hines alongside my partner Erik Will as we are set to roll tonight. Lucas checks in with a record of 5-2. The Cubs are the number 2 seed. Independence 6-1. Erik, they're the 10 seed. And before we go any further, teaming up tonight with our good friends at the OH Report to bring you live high school football. But what a thrill, thanks to AD Taylor Eisman, Athletic Director, Bob Lewis, their IT guy. Been very difficult to get a signal over the years in Lucas. Not some more, my friend. Great to be here and broadcast live.
No, this is fantastic. I appreciate Mr. Eisman and the entire Lucas administration for making this happen. You know, as Brian Skoronsky was saying, the old tree house, that's what he called this, and that's pretty much what it is. But, man, what a great night. We had a little bit of rain kind of roll through, kind of soften that turf a little bit. And, you know, for Lucas, of course, I think they dialed that up. And but what a cool setting here. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm telling you, for us to be able to have an opportunity to call a game at this field and at this stadium with this team, meaning Lucas, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and it's cool to see one of the better teams in Richland County firing it up here in the playoffs.
And I'll tell you what, normally we are indoors inside a press box. Not tonight, Lucas. You know, a Division VII school, so not as much press box availability. But a tip of the cap to Taylor Eisman, the athletic director, his whole crew. I mean, literally built us like a treehouse. We are beside the press box. We are covered, and we are ready to bring you high school football tonight. Hopefully that rain can stay north or south of us, and we'll get this ball game in here this evening. Let's talk about it, Lucas. Very, very impressive, Erik. 35-0 in a win a week ago over Cuyahoga Heights in the second round of the playoffs. What made it more special, Lucas in Week 8 played their first home game. They agreed due to seating capacity to play all their games on the road, which was a great thing for them to do. But they hadn't had a home game, and what did they do in their first home game? They delivered a 35-0 win.
Well, and I'm happy that they were able to get the home game because these seniors work so hard. They should be able to play in their stadium, get their memories at this facility. And I know there was talk of people asking if they could contact maybe one of the larger schools in the area, and they said, no, we're going to go ahead and do the playoff thing. We did the regular season to kind of help out with some of the ticket issues with some of the schools they were playing in the MOAC, but they said for the playoffs we're going to be home, and I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they're playing here. This is a great facility. These seniors have every right to play here, and man, what are we doing? We're talking about Lucas doing what they do, which is play really well in the playoffs. I think we heard a stat, something like 77-0. It's just, you know, not surprising that we're here right now. Wouldn't be surprised if we're in the future seeing them as well.
Well, before we rattle off all the numbers we have in front of me, Erik threw out 77-0, and that's kind of the stat coming in. If you don't know, Lucas has only played 2 schools their size all year. They've played 7 games, but they've played 4 Division IV schools, 1 Division V. They're lone 2 Division VII schools. They've won 77-0 by a combined score, 42-0 over Troy Christian in the regular season, and then last week 35-0 over Cuyahoga Heights. A week ago I mentioned 35-0 over Cuyahoga Heights. They led that game at halftime 13-0. Coach Spittler told me something just clicked after halftime. They outscored them 22-0. They rushed for better than 360 yards, Erik, last week.
Right, which is what they do, and I know that they had a key score right before the half, which gave them that 13-0 lead, which, you know, that's like 2 or that's like 3 or 4 scores for a lot of other schools. When Lucas gets a 2-touchdown lead, it's one of those things you almost tip your cap and say good luck to the opposing team, and that's almost, it doesn't even matter who it is.
Well, last week Ethan Sauter 150 yards rushing and a touchdown. Fullback Ethan Wallace rushed for 2 scores. Connor Harper had a 57-yard reverse, and Andrew Finello had a 12-yard touchdown run. And for good measure, quarterback Andrew Smolin threw a 2-point conversion to Ethan Wallace, and the defense pitched a shutout and allowed just 150 total yards to Cuyahoga Heights. Let's learn about their opponent, the Independence Blue Devils, who check in 6-1, Erik, from the Cleveland area under 6-year head coach Rick Adams. They beat a good Monroeville team a week ago in the second round, 28-20. But what doesn't tell the whole story, they trailed that game 20-7 late in the third quarter. They rallied to score 21 unanswered to win that game.
Yeah, and you're going to see a little bit more balance. You're going to hear a little bit more balance today from Independence, the Blue Devils there. And they play in a very competitive conference. And, that's why I kind of made mention of the weather, in the intro, because they want to throw the ball a little bit more. They feel like on their side of the ball, when their offense has the ball, that Michael Tomer, that's their quarterback. If he settles in and can throw the football, that gives him a chance, because they know the recipe to trying to compete with Lucas tonight in this setting is going to be to throw the ball, get it out in the air, and you're looking at almost 50% completion, a touch over 750 yards, so he's going to need to be on point tonight to compete with that Lucas defense.
Well, let's throw out a few names as we get ready for Independence and Lucas. We're about 5 minutes away from kickoff here this evening at Bob Wine Field. Couple names to watch out for Independence. Erik Matrician is a name we're going to talk about tonight. Kyle Zigmont. Those are a couple of their receivers, Erik, that you and I were talking about. These are guys that have some good size. They have some speed, and the coach, I know, really excited about them. We'll talk more about them in a moment as we pause tonight for the playing of our national anthem.
Placing your right hand over your heart for the playing of our national anthem.
Just about ready for football time here in Lucas. Aaron Hines, Erik Will, WMAN tonight, teaming up with the OH Report live high school playoff football as the Lucas Cubs take on the Independence Blue Devils here tonight in the Division VII Regional quarterfinal. Winner moves on to the regional semifinal next week. And I wanted to touch on a couple of the kids for Independence, Erik, because Erik Matrician, the wide receiver, has 6 touchdown catches, over 400 yards. He's a big play guy. We talked about Kyle Zigmont. He's a good slot receiver who's got some speed. And then the running back, the sophomore, had over 100 yards a week ago in Rory Corrigan. He has 5 rushing touchdowns. So this is a team that maybe runs it just a little more than they throw it. But the coach told me, I think they really feel, Erik, they're going to try to attack Lucas some through the air here tonight. And if you're the Lucas Cubs, we know the game against Shelby, they had a few concerns with the passing defense that night.
Right, and in a game like this, you can't become one-dimensional. You become one-dimensional, you're going to get beat. Now, I know it's easy to say because you're thinking, well, hold on here, Lucas, all they're going to do is run the football. The difference is they're not a jack-of-all-trade, master of none. They are absolutely dominating at the point of attack, especially against teams within their own division size. And when you were talking about Kyle Zigmont, you're talking about a young man, 720 all-purpose yards, nearly 100 yards a game through the special teams, the punt, the kicks returns. He's had nearly 200 yards in the year in rushing, and then he turns around and has nearly 200 yards through the air. He's a deadly weapon. You're going to hear that name a lot tonight.
Potentially dangerous weather in the area. Game officials have temporarily suspended play on the field.
All right, folks, and I don't know if you can pick that up on our crowd mic or not, but as we are literally 1 minute away from kickoff tonight, they say that some potential weather is in the neighborhood, and so
we're veterans at this, Aaron.
We are
veterans at this.
We are officially 40 seconds from kickoff, and we are officially in a weather delay here tonight from Lucas. We'll keep it here for a little bit as we await and get some word. Erik will you'll play your role of meteorologist and look at that radar as we approach 7 o'clock. You're listening to WMAN Mansfield, WMAN FM Fredericktown High School football, week number 9. And we all know how it rules as the PA announcer is kind of going through some of the regulations. If there's thunder, if there's
Right.
lightning, anytime you hear that, you see that, you kind of reset the clock, and there would be a 30-minute delay. So nothing right now, but they say something is somewhat imminent in the area.
Yeah, in the area. And it's kind of interesting because, from our distance, from where we're standing, we're looking east, and it looks actually pretty nice out.
See some clouds.
You can see some clouds. It's beautiful. And, Independence made the trek down here. I really don't think this is going to turn into like week one. I think we'll be able to get this baby in here. So hopefully in the next 30 minutes, we'll be able to kind of do some quick calisthenics and get them going. But, when you look at this Blue Devil team, and then you look at the defensive side, you can tell that they're very well coached because their linebackers in their front, or they're well coached because their front three do a great job of eating up blockers. They're running a 3-4 with a cover 2 shell. So what that means is you only have 3 down linemen, you have 4 linebackers. I don't know. I'm going to be really curious to see what their adjustment to Lucas's offense is, because I feel like they've got to roll at least 1 or 2 of those guys up to give really more of a 5-2 look, because if you're sitting at a 3-4 against this offense, I've got to. You might have the 3. You might have the Bosa brothers and Chase Young playing on your defensive line, because I don't think you can beat Lucas with a 3-man front.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wanted to throw out a name before we started this game, and now we'll have plenty of time to do it. One of their key guys on defense, and he almost leads by double in tackles, and that's their linebacker, Adam Miklovic. He has 82 tackles through 7 games. He averages about 12 per game. He has 11 TFLs, and the thing you look at with that, Eric, that's somebody that just jumps out at you. I haven't even seen the film, but you look at the stats, that's pretty eye-popping.
Yeah, it's eye-popping. I watched them warm up, because, Independence is a school that we're not real familiar with, so we've done our due diligence. We're looking at stats. Stats do tell a part of the story, and then you look at the measurables, the things like the height, the speed, the size, and you're looking at 6'2", 210, and he's quite a specimen running around on the field. And when you see him moving, he sticks out. So he's going to have one of those all-Ohio caliber nights, not even an all-league, an all-Ohio caliber night. And here's the thing, Independence is a very worthy opponent. I mean, for them to get here, because we know what kind of a school and what kind of a year up in the Firelands. Who'd they just play?
Monroeville.
Yeah, Monroeville,
Yep.
excuse me. I kept thinking Colonel Crawford because of the colors. But Monroeville, and, we know what kind of a program they have and what kind of a year they've had. And for them to be able to get out of there with a win and kind of pull away late in that game sets them up for an opportunity here. But there is a reason that those Cubs are that 2 seed. And I think that they're the favorite tonight, no doubt about it. But that pass game for Independence is something that's going to have to be dealt with if you're the Cubs, because one thing we've seen with Lucas this year, if you're going to beat them, it's generally through the air.
The thing that I kind of look at, Eric, when you look at the Lucas Cubs, and it's so impressive, you kind of know when you watch Lucas, you know what the Cubs are going to do, but can you stop it? I mean, it's
Right.
one of those things that people talk about a game plan. Hey, I'm going to face the Lucas Cubs, and they're going to run it so many different ways. But talk about the challenges as a coach, as a player. You know what's coming, but can you stop it? And how it kind of, I want to use the word, beats on you for 4
Right.
quarters.
Well, there's 2 ways you try to beat a school like Lucas, and really anybody. This is a one-size-fits-all, I guess. You've got to beat it schematically by changing up your looks and your fronts and then even your coverage calls with it. And then here's the one that you can't coach. Do you have the players to go out and execute whatever that game plan is? When my guys are better than your guys, you win a lot of football games. We all look good as coaches, right? Your teams look good. So what are you doing from a schematic standpoint? And then I guess the honorable mention thing to throw in there is how well can you simulate this in practice? We were talking about this in the pregame, even with the OH guys. Can you stop? How do you simulate Lucas's offense? It's easier to simulate a spread team than what Lucas does, which is that foot-to-foot, wing T principles, but they add other things to it. How do you simulate that? I don't think you do. That's why they score. I mean, think about even Shelby, Gallion, a lot of Ontario, a lot of these schools they've played this year. Lucas has early success because there's nobody that can simulate what they do offensively.
Thanks for joining us tonight. High school playoff football, WMAN, iHeartRadio, teaming up with our friends at the OH Report tonight to bring you high school playoff football. We will have it sometime throughout the evening. We do know, and I've been getting some text messages, there is a bit of a system moving its way toward us, so hopefully once this gets through, we'll be good
Play
to
ball,
go.
man.
But it's one of those things that they see it coming, they want to take precaution, and so nearly everybody has left the bleachers and probably headed to their cars where they'll wait it out.
Except us, Aaron.
Except for us.
Except for us,
Except for us in the treehouse, right?
Up in the treehouse here. We're but we're protected here. We've got a nice little awning here that if some wind were to pick up, it would almost look like a dress blowing up. But
let's hope that doesn't happen.
No, let's hope that doesn't happen. And looking at Lucas's offense, I think they're right around 1,800 yards rushing on the year, 22 touchdowns. Averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. And that's playing the MOAC. That's not like these guys are playing down or playing like-sized opponents. I mean, they're playing Clear Fork, Shelby, Ontario, Galleon. Like these are some pretty good schools that would make playoffs regardless of what the year looked like, with everybody getting in this year. But no matter what it looked like, I have so much respect for Lucas because they'll play you in a parking lot, Aaron.
Well, and you bring that up, and we'll step aside here shortly and return to regular programming, come back and check in throughout the evening until we're ready to go for football. So stay with us here on WMAN OH Report as well. We'll have the ball game for you once we're able to get going. But, that's the thing I look at for Lucas. Erik, it's not like you play up one game and then you come down and play a couple of Division 7s or a Division 6. They had Division 4, 4, 4, 5, 4. And then you finally, I think that week off.
Man.
I think that week off actually came at a good time because it was Shelby and it was Galleon back to back.
Well, and I think even with them going 4-2 in the regular season, in some conferences with some teams, that might not be a bye. They ended up with the 2 seed because I think people are able to see, man, this Lucas team, they're really good. They're playing up. They're playing a lot of dudes, and they're competing in those games. And here's the thing, Aaron. Here's what I love about that. That mentality of Lucas playing anybody, anywhere, just get us on a field, that mentality permeates from the head coach all the way down to the players to just it speaks to the toughness of this community. And I think, quite frankly, more people need to have that mentality. Lucas isn't whining around about not getting their 3 home games this year. They're just saying, listen, we're going to go play football because we're blessed to be able to play this game. And not only are we going to play this game, but we're going to do it anywhere to get it done, and we'll accommodate other schools while doing it. It's just a selfless act. I have a lot of respect for it. And, and I think that's why their product is what it is.
And I'll throw out one more for you. Rain coming, it softens the field even more. That benefits the Cubs.
Oh, no doubt about it. And that's what I said. If we get wet, if we start getting some rain, Independence could be in for a long night. I mean, we got to wait and see it. It's not like I'm speaking from being able to have a lot of background with Independence in their product. I just know what Lucas does, and that product speaks pretty well for itself. But I will say this, Lucas has to stay out of 3rd and medium and 3rd and long as this game goes on. And we're going to talk about that, Aaron, as we get closer and once we get into the situations. 2 things one offensively, Lucas has to stay out of that 3rd and long, so 1st and 2nd down is huge. And I believe their coach even alluded to that in the pregame. And then on the other side, Lucas has got to continue to develop in that secondary because they will, even if it's not tonight, somewhere down the line, someone's going to be able to throw the ball a little bit. And I know that's probably been a point of emphasis for their defense.
Yeah, that's the point we'll leave you with. Independence coach Rick Adams told me the main keys, we got to get Lucas to throw the football. That means we have to control 1st and 2nd downs. You know as well as I do, when the Cubs get 3 to 4 yards per play, they're getting a 3rd down every 3rd play.
Well, yeah, and finishing up that, what it does is it creates everything where it's 4-down territory. Because if let's be honest, if it's 4th and 2, if they're not buried deep in their own end zone, they're going for that. And I love it. I like that style of football because it keeps everybody on the edge of their seat, and I think it keeps their players really dialed in, and it keeps them aggressive because if the coaches are aggressive with their play calling and decision making, that that goes down to the players as well.
All right, so we will step aside. We are going to return to regular programming here on WMAN. We'll check in with the America Now program, and Erik and I will pop on throughout the next 30 minutes and give you an update here from Bob Winefield. Those on the OH report, I know we'll pop in as well and give you an update. Hopefully this kind of cell moves through this rain.
Yeah.
And
it looks like it's to the north. You can see it. It's kind of to the north, and it's moving. It's definitely not to the south, so that's good. Let's get this thing out of here and get some ball. And I really do think it'll be fairly quick here, Aaron.
Meteorologist Will on top of things here in the booth. Appreciate that. We will step aside. Again, be back in just a few minutes. High school playoff football tonight. Lucas 5-2, Independent 6-1. This is the Division VII Regional Quarterfinal from Bob Winefield. We are currently in a weather delay. We'll take a break. Be back in just a few minutes. We will have football for you coming up. You're listening to High School Football, the Pediatric Consultants High School Football Game of the Week here on WMAN. We'll send you to regular programming in 1 minute and be back in just a few minutes with a further weather update here from Lucas.
Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff football.
At Bo Lacey Construction, they understand that finding the right company for your home improvement needs can be very stressful. The professionals at Bo Lacey Construction can help alleviate that stress. Call Bo Lacey Construction at 866-266-9916.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff football.
At Bo Lacey Construction, they understand that finding the right company for your home improvement needs can be very stressful. The professionals at Bo Lacey Construction can help alleviate that stress. Call Bo Lacey Construction at 866-266-9916.
A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Welcome back to Bob Wine Field in Lucas, 7:35 Friday night, October the 23rd. Some light rain falling, and currently we are in a holding pattern, a weather delay here, as we're getting ready for tonight's Division VII Regional Quarterfinal between the Lucas Cubs and the Independence Blue Devils. And I know in the Shelby area, lightning and thunder rolling through right now. At Bob Wine Field, a light rain.
Yeah.
Not doing a whole lot. There is some lightning in the distance. We're kind of being told that it sounds like in the next hour or so we may have a decision. It sounds like if this game doesn't start in the neighborhood of 9 o'clock, we may just postpone it tonight and they play it tomorrow. That's not an official word from an athletic director, but a pretty reliable source just told us that.
Yeah, and it sounds like at 8:30 they're going to put 30 minutes on the clock. If there would happen to be lightning somewhere in there, OHSAA rules are very clear that if you any lightning sighting or even thunder, thunder, you automatically put the 30 minutes back on the board and just run it. So what they're saying is at 8:30, they're going to put 30 minutes on the clock, and if there's any lightning in that amount of time, which would reset it, they're probably going to postpone it for tomorrow would be what we're hearing. So that'll be official later, but that's just what we're hearing. We're just kind of trying to keep people updated as to what's going on.
We are, and I believe Brian from the OH report told us that Ashland in a weather delay as well, but the Arrows were leading. Did I hear that right? 7-0 Ashland. Thank you, Brian. 7-0 Ashland in that game. And, you know, Erik, what's really, really unfortunate is it's high school football. It's the playoffs. This is how the playoffs normally would start with 8 teams left. There's so much excitement. You get the warm temperatures in October, so you're kind of excited. I broke out the shorts yesterday, and then what do we have tonight, right?
Right. Yeah, you're right, and it's. I'm glad you said that. It would normally be week 9 this week, and you get kind of the end of October, a little bit of a temperature boost, like you said, where it's become short weather. And but with this, we're going to see a cold front coming through because tomorrow when we're at Shelby,
you're not wearing shorts.
Not wearing shorts. As a matter of fact, I think the high is like 47 tomorrow, so it's going to be a little what they call chilly. Yeah, it's actually really nice out. It's very comfortable temperature-wise out, and the rain here is just it's been pretty steady, but which, like I said, plays right into what the Cubs want. They want a nice saturated field.
So we hope to have a decision somewhere in the neighborhood, I would think. We're going to say 9 o'clock to you right now, but what will happen is if we have any lightning or any thunder anytime after 8:30, they're going to postpone this till tomorrow because they want to kick the game off at least by 9 o'clock tonight. And if you have another delay where you see lightning or hear thunder after 8:30, they'd reset that clock for 30 minutes, and that would delay it till after 9. And I think that's kind of the agreed upon between the schools. So we will check back in with you maybe a little after 8 o'clock, 8:05, after we hit the national news at the top of the hour. Erik, Will, and I will be back. I know OH Report is here. Brian and his crew is here. Several games around the area being delayed. Right now, Bob Wine Field, just to kind of set the scene for you, light rain right now. Not too bad, not a lot of wind or anything, but there is lightning and things and thunder off in the distance, and that's kind of why we are in a holding pattern right now. So 7:38, Aaron Hines, Erik Will, WMAN, high school playoff football tonight. We hope to bring you the Pediatric Consultants high school football game of the week between Lucas and Independence. I can tell you tomorrow night it may be colder, but the weather looks a whole lot better. We will be at WW Skiles Field in Shelby, where the Whippets take on a pretty good Oberlin Firelands team who's 7-1. We talk about that for a moment. The Whippets, what's interesting, I think a lot of people, as we talk some high school football for a second while we got time, there's some lightning right there.
Yeah, restart it.
Yeah, restart that. We talk about Shelby. I think a lot of people see, Shelby and Rossford, it was close for a while. That Rossford team was pretty good last week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They had some athletes. I think you and I both came away really impressed with Rossford's sophomore quarterback who just made plays all over the field, especially early on. Alex Williams. And, they had the Jamari was the
Jamari
Kroom. Oh, man, that kid was a heck of a wide receiver. So they were playing, at least fairly talent-equated group of people there from Rossford. And, and here's the thing. They took 15 days off because think about it, they hadn't played a competitive game in 15 days, Aaron. That's almost half a month. You know what I mean? It really is. Right. It's almost half a month. So, when you're looking at it from a Shelby perspective, I think people were just anticipating, like, oh, running clock, here we go. Shelby's playing the, whatever the seed is.
Well, they were a 15, and all of a sudden your mind just kind of goes a 2 versus a 15. That was no 15.
And the thing is, early on, even in warm-ups, you and I were both like, man, they look pretty smooth. They look like they got some dudes that can run around. And, the first quarter, them coming out with a I believe it was a 10-7 lead.
Correct.
And then Shelby only gave up 3 points the next 3 quarters. So their defense settled in. They did a great job they were playing some quarters, Shelby was, so meaning that your corner and your safeties have their deep quarters and the backers are playing underneath it. Well, what you have to do, Aaron, when you do that, you got to widen your backers out. Well, where were they getting beat up? In the middle and the seams. So what they did was they just went back to cover 2. They said, we're going to keep our safeties in the middle of the field. We're going to roll our corners up so they can have strong help in the flat and get those backers back into the box. That was the simple adjustment. So that slowed their offense down. And then offensively, Marshall Shepard played well. The receiving core, right? The Fantastic Four as we talk about all the time with their receiving core. And then, man, in the second half, it's just a big dosage of number 24, Owen Fisher.
The thing I liked, and we're going to talk a little more about Lucas before we send it back to programming about tonight's game. Currently, by the way, in a weather delay, raining, thunder and lightning off in the distance here at Bob Wine Field. We hope to start at 9. Any type of lightning or thunder after 8:30, and they're probably going to postpone this game until tomorrow. But our game tomorrow night on My 100.1, Shelby taking on Oberlin Firelands. We'll have it for you at 7 on My 100.1. Pregame will be at 6. The thing that I really like about Shelby is you get a healthy Merrick Albert back who got his paws on a couple of passes a week ago. But, people, and I don't want to say people overlook Nathan Zahner, but that's a dude, as you would call it. I mean, that guy literally had the strip sack on the quarterback in the end zone. Caleb Baker recovered it. That guy, we watched him chase Gallion's quarterback all over the field.
Right, and when you look at their front four, that's why I was making such a big deal about this game tonight with Independence's front 3. Shelby's front 4 can control a line of scrimmage, and not only that, but they can go get the quarterback. They've got 3 or 4 guys that can go chase after a quarterback, and like you said, Nathan Zahner's, I say this every week, but it's true. He's the get off the bus first guy. He passes the look test. I mean, he is a nasty junkyard dog type guy. And then you get Merrick Albert, who's got not only the strength, but has the handwork, the hip movement, and can get around and go rush that quarterback also while playing his run fit. That's the key, Aaron. Everybody wants to talk about go get the quarterback, but you can't go get the quarterback if it's not a 3rd and long situation where it's an obvious pass situation. If Shelby gets you in a 3rd and long with that defensive front, man, are they good. And then piggybacking off that allows those linebackers, Carson Ingram and Green and Brinson DeLauder and those guys to just play free, and they can go tackle the football because those front 4 just eat people up. And then, you've brought this up really well over all of the different broadcasts that we've had with Shelby. But, how about Caleb Baker, man? I mean, you're talking about a kid that was going to play JV football, right?
Came out of nowhere,
and he's a young man that, he's got to have reps. I mean, you can't sit this guy. No. I think he's an all-league caliber player.
He has to play.
Yeah. I mean, even last week he ended up getting the was it the player of the week? Did we give him the player of the week?
We gave him the heck of a play because he recovered the fumble in the end zone. Yep.
Right,
and he didn't want to give the ball back.
Right, and he had a sack earlier in the game, had a couple of TFLs. That's a kid that's supposed to be playing JV football for you. I think you've got some nice depth at that defensive line. And then the last part of that is what you saw was a weakness not because of athleticism, but because of experience. Ontario exposed the young corners early in that young secondary early in the year. Well, there's no substitute for practice, reps, and experience, and that's what they've gotten. So they've matured, and guess what? Those guys most of them are coming back next year. So they're getting on-the-job training right now, and that what once was a defensive weakness, if you will, I'm using my air quotations there, but a defensive weakness has now turned into, I think, a very formidable group. And if you're going to beat Shelby, you're going to have to be able to throw the ball, but you better be able to run the ball. As soon as they make you one-dimensional like they did last week, Rossford could no longer run the football. Shelby was immediately in control of that game.
So that'll be our game tomorrow night on iHeartRadio on My 100.1. You can join us for pregame coverage at 6 o'clock. We'll have both coaches on in the pregame tomorrow night. We'll hear from Shelby head coach Rob Mahaney and Ryan O'Rourke, the football coach, at Oberlin Firelands. That'll be tomorrow night in the Pediatric Consultants High School Football Game of the Week over on My 100.1. While we're talking football, we're here in Lucas. Cubs have been so impressive. You really hope they're able to play tonight. I know they may postpone till tomorrow. If you're just joining us, 7:45. This game was probably 40 seconds from kickoff. Everybody was on the field.
Yeah.
And OH report beside us, we're all kind of like, we're just a little slow for kickoff. Everybody's just not quite in the right spot. They started to filter off the field. The PA guy came on and said weather in the distance. And so tonight's game is being delayed right now. So if you're just joining us, rain here at Bob Wine Field in Lucas, some thunder and lightning off to our north. But other areas, getting hit pretty hard right now. So in a holding pattern, we hope to have this game tonight. But if we don't kick off by 9 o'clock, they're going to delay until tomorrow. So we probably will have some news a little after 8:30 on this contest. Before we throw it back to programming, and while we're just talking football, tomorrow morning, 10:30 pregame, noon kickoff. It's been forever, but the Buckeyes are back.
The Buckeyes in the Big Ten. I love college football and I love college sports, and it's been fun watching the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC specifically for us locally, being able to watch Brennan play and things like that. But I've been missing the Big Ten and
Scarlet
and Ohio State, and I'm so excited that we get an opportunity to watch those guys play tomorrow. Coach Day and his staff, I'm sure, have been just probably fearful that this moment wouldn't happen. And I think that, listen, everybody wants to play, everybody wants to coach, but I think there is a little bit extra when you realize, Aaron, that this team could be really, really special. You don't get a Justin Fields every day. You know what I mean? So when you have an athlete, when you have a player the caliber of a Justin Fields, and then you put that receiving core, and then you put that offensive line, which have, 2 or 3 of those guys are going to be playing on Sundays probably next year, and then you get a transfer like a Trey Sermon, and you got Master Teague back
who's
there
healthy
as well,
now.
who's healthy after his Achilles injury, I believe.
Right.
So they are just absolutely loaded, and people are worried about the defense. And I look at it as there's just a whole bunch of people that you haven't heard of yet that are going to become household names here in a couple weeks.
That's a great point to make for that Silver Bullet defense at Ohio State. I had on this morning Mark Ray from the Buckeye Sports Bulletin in Columbus, who's a terrific college football writer who's covered Ohio State for many years. And I told him I was on Twitter, and this stat caught my eye for Ohio State. Of the Big Ten schools, when you look at all of them, there are 20 5-star recruits across the Big Ten schools.
20 5-star recruits.
Right.
Yes.
14 of those go to Columbus and Ohio State.
Right.
Recruiting, Erik, it's years down the road. You keep doing that. But Ohio State does it just as good as everybody, or just as good as anybody in the country.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, as a matter of fact, if you look at next year's composite, depending on, whichever service you want to look at, they're either 1 or 2. And then you look at 2022, and they're eking up in the top 5 of that. So what happens is, I really think the playoff has just widened that gap. I think there are 4 to 7 teams that are kind of plucking their kids. And in the Big Ten right now, are their players, and in the Big Ten right now, there's really, Urban Meyer said this the other day. He said, when he was talking about the team up north, he said that
careful choice of words.
That's right. Yeah. He said that they're really, that's always the game. Nothing will ever replace that. But as far as the talent and who they're recruiting against, it's probably been more Penn State. And he said, really, in the Big Ten, there's really nobody recruiting against Ohio State. It's really more nationally, the Oklahomas, the Alabamas, and the Clemsons. But Aaron, that gets back to what I talked about in this game here. Ohio State lines up 10 to 11 times every year, and their players are better than the players across from them. So that's great because you should be winning a whole lot of football games, but when you have those talent-equated games, that's where that coaching comes in, that's where the repetition, that's where the depth comes in, and I think that's the difference between Ohio State and the rest of the Big Ten. Fine, everybody's got fast receivers. A lot of people have pretty good quarterbacks, but Ohio State's got, 5 or 6 of those D linemen. They've got 7 or 8 of those O linemen. They've got an extra running back. They've got, like you said, 3 or 4 of those great wide receivers, not just 1 or 2. So the depth and then just some of that top-end speed, that's the difference, and I think that's why you've seen their dominance really, not only from Jim Tressel, but Urban Meyer really took that to the next level.
Talking a little Buckeye football while we're waiting out a weather delay. Glad to have you tonight, Aaron Hines, Erik Will, WMAN, iHeartRadio. Tonight with the OH Report live from Bob Wine Field, where light rain falling right now, but rain and thunderstorms off to our north, and so we're seeing some lightning. So anytime there's lightning, anytime you hear thunder, I just saw it again that they reset that clock 30 minutes. So if you're just joining us, Lucas and Independence and a weather delay, and I would say right around 8:30, we're going to be able to tell you because they want to start this game at 9. So any type of thunder or lightning after 8:30 would move this till after 9, and it sounds like they would postpone and come back tomorrow. I cannot tell you what time tomorrow, but Taylor Eisman just sent me a text, and he will keep us up to date here at Bob Wine Field. But enjoying talking some sports. We'll continue doing that while we're here. And, Erik, just quickly back to finish up something on Ohio State. I mentioned I had Mark Ray on this morning in the 8 o'clock hour on WMAN, and we were talking football. And you think of the run the Buckeyes have had with the Bosa brothers. You think about, you think of last year, Chase Young. People want to know, who's the next guy to step in on that D-line? Because Larry Johnson has done a whale of a job with that defensive line.
Road, you're looking at Tyreek Smith, and then obviously the name that's going to come to mind that I think you saw him start 2 or 3 games last year. He even started in their game against Clemson, Zach Harrison.
I was going to bring him up.
Zach Harrison,
he's an Ohio guy, right?
Yeah, he's an Ohio guy. Actually, my buddy, one of my best friends, Zeb Schroeder, the head coach at Olentangy Orange, was his head high school coach. So I knew about him when he was younger. And, here's the crazy thing about Zach Harrison. You're talking about a kid that's 6'6", about 265. He literally was one of the fastest kids in the state of Ohio. He would run like a 20, listen to this, he'd run like a 21.5, 21.7, 200. That's how fast he was, wearing an 18 shoe. There is no way that he genetically is not going to be a first-round pick and probably a top 5 pick in 2 years. Not to mention the fact, just having the inside scoop on him, because like I said, one of my good buddies was his head high school football coach. He said, you won't meet a more quality human being than Zach Harrison. He said his family, his mom and dad are unbelievably grounded, just a phenomenal young man with an incredible work ethic. And that's what the great ones have, Aaron. I don't care where you're at, high school, pro, middle school, college. Listen, it's very simple. There are a lot of good athletes. There are a lot of good football players that are running around. The difference is the work ethic and the mental toughness and the mental capacity to say, I want to be coached and I need to be coached. The great ones want to be pushed to their limit.
Well, you bring up the great ones, and you think about a really good football team, no matter what level it's at. And I'll just give an example. When you were coaching at Shelby in 2017, I think you guys knew a lot of games going out. You were going to be favored. But, Erik, you just don't roll the ball out there and win. You know what I mean?
Right.
Those are the things you think about as
Look at this.
Coach, he is a coach.
Yeah,
He's also the athletic director, Taylor Eisman.
Taking good care of us. I can tell you this, man. We have not been taken this well. They put up a facility for us here, Aaron. I don't know anybody else that's put up a facility for us. I mean, this is fantastic.
He's brought food.
Water.
He's brought drinks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah.
Would you
had better weather report.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it does. Got some weather report here, yeah.
Taylor, can I put you on mic? You okay with that? Okay, all right.
We can talk a little hoops too, man.
Yeah, we can talk about some Cubbies basketball. Let me turn up the mic for Taylor Eisman here. I know we got it underneath here. All right, there we go. Taylor Eisman joining us. Lucas, athletic director, boys basketball coach. Thanks for joining us here live on the radio. Also, OH Report. What can you tell us? We've heard by 9 o'clock we want to start. What's kind of the athletic director conversation right now?
Hey, when these things happen, we put it all on the coaches. They're the ones that have to, play, and they prepare all week for this stuff. I'm just here to do whatever they tell me they want to do. So we talked to both coaches. They want to wait it out, obviously, with Independence having to make a drive, and Spit would stay here till midnight and play if he could.
That's right.
So like I said, we're going to wait, probably reevaluate things 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then we'll see what the radar looks like at that point, and try and make a better decision, because I don't think it's going to get better here for a little while yet. So we'll see. It's Ohio. Who knows?
Well, and while I have you for a minute, and I talked with Coach Spittler about this in the pregame. Your kids didn't get a home game all year. I mean, just how special last week was to get them out here and get a win in front of the home fans. I mean, you guys being so gracious to go to everybody else's facility so more parents could watch their kids play. First of all, tip of the cap to you guys, but how cool was that last week to play here and dominate?
Well, yeah, it was awesome. Like I said, it's a special place to play, just in the area and anywhere in the state of Ohio. This is a cool place to be at, and like I said, our kids are fortunate to get to do it every week. But as far as the season went, we were extremely gracious and with the MOAC to accept us, and like I said, it worked out well for us because we're playing bigger schools, so we had that opportunity to go to bigger stadiums. A lot of the smaller schools, they didn't have that option because you're playing other small schools, so it was they both had small venues, so it was nice from that standpoint, and it wasn't long drives. We're used to traveling all over the state of Ohio to play, so like I said, it was short drives and we could get more fans there. So obviously we want to be here, but it wasn't that bad, and like I said, we were just happy that the MOAC accepted us, and it worked out this year.
So how are we going to be in basketball? Is it too early to start talking hoops? I'm kidding.
No, wait a minute, next Friday. Next Friday.
Next Friday. That's what they were just asking me about, and I said it's never next Friday,
yeah,
Lucas.
That's right.
I say it's middle. It seemed like the middle of December last year before we get started with things, but hey, we'll deal with that every year if we have to. But yeah, we're excited. It should be another good year. Got a lot of guys. Got 3 starters back and some guys back from our team last year, and just excited. I was talking about the other day, we start talking about basketball, and it just seemed like yesterday we were upset and mad that we didn't get to finish, and here we are already talking about basketball again. So it's cool. We're excited to do it, but we want to keep going with football. I'm a football guy as well. So.
See, and I love hearing that, Coach, because right now you're a coach to me, okay? Because I know you're an AD, but you're a coach of young men, and to me, I love hearing what you're talking about here because people don't realize that smaller schools, and really that's most people in this county, because I'm throwing Shelby in that, I'm throwing Clear Fork, all of them in this. When you're sharing athletes, it is really important that you get along well. And obviously you and Coach Spittler have a great relationship. You share your athletes, and you work schedules out. And people don't realize across the state and many other schools, and you know this as well as I do, coaches sometimes don't get along. Sometimes they compete over athletes. Sometimes there can be some jealousy that goes in there. And you guys do nothing but share athletes and just root each other on. Just talk to our people listening about this.
And I played football in college. I'm a football guy. Coached football until I took over as the AD. So I'm all on board there. But yeah, we're a small school, man. We got the kids that play football, play basketball, play baseball, run track. It's all the same kids, so we have to share. But we're fortunate with good kids, good coaches. Everybody gets along. We communicate. Even every year, I tell Spit, hey, I'm gonna start some open gyms and stuff, but I won't have any of the football guys there. We don't want they can come and stand and shoot, but yeah, no turned angles, no nothing. I would never hear the end of that. But yeah, like I said, we're fortunate. We all get along. But yeah, I've been around it. I know how that works, and I always I tell my kids there's so many. Today you hear kids I'm only a football player. I'm gonna lift in the offseason. I'm gonna get ready for college. And I always told him Urban Meyer always he recruited multi-sport athletes. And that was my my saving grace. Hey, look, if Urban Meyer's looking for it, he knows what he's talking about. But like I said, we got a bunch of good kids down here, and they're all for the football team, basketball team, baseball team, whatever it may be. So
and going back to your basketball season last year, obviously Aaron was following you the whole way through. Just talk about that there are decisions made that are outside of your control, and you're talking to your players about that. But have there been times where you have sat down and thought about, oh man, we were right there, we had an opportunity? I believe
that was my next question.
Yeah, I want you to know how much I'm a coach at heart. I love high school athletics in general. I think this is the purest form of athletics. I love it, and I have such an appreciation for the conversations that you had to have with not only the young people but their parents, and talking to them like, you guys have done nothing wrong. This is a decision that's been made. And just talk to me about that process and kind of just what after it was over, what have you thought about it?
Well, and it was crazy because we went from football straight into basketball. It was just crazy. It was football is week to week,
right?
And then basketball, being the coach, it's you play and then you're on to the next opponent. You got to prepare, and then you get in the tournament and it's all right. We're done with this team. Now we got to prepare for this team, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. We went from just the whole school year was crazy to nothing, and there were some tough conversations that were to be had there, and I'm very fortunate. We have really good kids. They're really good athletes, but they're better kids. I tell everybody that, and they were mature enough and able to handle that. And like I said, they're kids. It sucks. Usually a kid makes a mistake. You say, hey, look, you did this. This is the punishment. This is why. Well, they did nothing wrong. There was no reason that this was happening to them. And like I said, they all handled it great. It was a crazy year with getting to the state championship, and then basketball with where we were at was heartbreaking. But again, all those kids that played basketball were football guys as well for the most part, so they all got that great season. But yeah, like I said, it was crazy, and you try and be there for them. But like I said, we couldn't even be together because you're with those kids every day. I see those kids more than I see my kids throughout that time.
I understand.
It's all done. So it was tough, but it is what it is, and it's the world we live in, and you just got to deal with it. And they'll be better off in the long run dealing with it. But one of the things we always talk about, every year when you lose that game, you get to have that conversation in the locker room and you reflect on things. Well, it was just weird. We never had that. You didn't get to thank your seniors, and it had come to an end, and you think and you wonder and say, I'm a coach and I've been around forever.
What if?
Yeah, there's guys that do it for a long time and never get to the regional championship game.
And that was my point was, man, I just, as coaches, sometimes you sit around and think about a play here and there, or, maybe whether it was a play call, an out-of-bounds play, maybe a missed shot, or, maybe a slip or fall, or there's so many different things that create memories, and that's a great thing about being a human being. But, you guys, man, but most people get the opportunity. Yeah. You didn't even get the opportunity to continue that season out. I want you to know, man, I have thought about that for you. I respect Lucas. I respect the people here. I respect the mentality that comes from this place. This is a hard-nosed group of people. The people that grow up and the people that are raising people in Lucas, they're tough, hard-nosed people. They're no nonsense. They're blue-collar. They don't want anything handed to them, but they want to work for it.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that, and then I agree wholeheartedly. And Coach Spittler's done a great job, and he embraces that and has instilled that even more so in our kids. And like I said, with football, that you embrace that, and that's easier to portray that on the football field as opposed to the basketball court. But like I said, we've just got good kids. They're winners. I told everybody last year, are you surprised at this? You surprised at that? And no, I knew we could win a lot. We could do a lot of things. Yeah. So when we went out and did it, I wasn't completely shocked that we beat Ontario, that we did this or we did that. I got good kids. I got winners. I say there was times I went in the locker room and I'm like, all right, guys, now we belong. And I'm like, I'm telling myself that these kids already believe that. That's why we're winning these games. And it's like I said, it's just a special group and a great time to be at Lucas. I'm a Lucas grad, born and raised here, and so
special for you.
To be around and be a part of all this makes it that much more special as well.
You're hearing the voice of Taylor Eisman, athletic director and boys basketball coach here at Lucas. 8:02, you're listening to WMAN Mansfield, WMAN FM Fredericktown. Raining a bit harder, some lightning, some thunder.
We're keeping him up here on purpose. Now we don't want him getting wet.
He brought us food, so he's
less headache I got to go deal with.
Pretty soon you're going to start getting texts. Man, where's he at? I'm on the radio, guys.
I'll hear about that too.
And you know what, Taylor? I followed you guys. Eric and I followed you in football, and I did so many of your basketball games last year. And the thing that I took away from last year was that class was so special. Football, basketball, they got no break, and they were on the verge of going back to state in two sports with no breaks. That is unheard of in a Division VII school.
Yeah, that group, like I say, those guys were special. And the funny thing was, when they were growing up, you had Jeb Grover's class in front of them, and then this group behind them, they were kind of squished in there. And just like I said, at a small school, it's not a ton of guys. And everybody kind of thought we would take a step back last year after going to the regional championship the year before. But you just credit all those guys. A lot of the the Logan Nicewers and the Carson Hoggers, those kids, the names that but there's a lot of Jordan Amas, Blake Kaufman's, Mike Bland's, just a ton of guys that nobody knows about. They showed up, did all the hard work in the off season and stuff, and that's what put us over the top. And those kids, I tell everybody, and we joked the other night when I was in school, we get done with practice, you were ready to go home. These kids, they get done with practice and they go to the gym and work out. They go lift weights, and it's like, it's not me telling them to do that. They just choose to go do that. And
they're wired different.
That's the biggest difference, man. When they do that stuff on their own. Like I said, most kids don't like coaches because they're telling them to go do that stuff afterwards. Our kids are going and doing that on their own. So. it's no surprise.
Man, I tell you what, I had a great time following you guys. See, I didn't get to do the radio, but I followed you. I saw you at Shelby a couple times, or at least a time, and then I went and watched you play at Willard. Oh, man, that South Central game, you had some battles with them over the last couple years. I was really impressed. You know, there's a word that I think of with your basketball team that I was able to see the few times I saw you, and it was grit. Your team was just gritty. It was a by any means necessary, and you might have a different score, you know, each game, but might even be by half. I said the Gossam kid goes out, has like 20 points in the first half, I believe, or something like that, and then you guys just come out and just as a collective group kind of just, you know, even defensively stopping that stud point guard at South
Blair,
Central, the Blair kid. But that was a by committee. That was a by any means necessary. And guys, I'm telling you, there was not one seat left in that place. Division IV basketball, man. Not a seat in the place. Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, like I say, again, that's just our kids, man. That, you know, in today's day and age, you know, they see on TV the pros and it's me and you know, this with social media and everything, but those guys didn't care. You know, one night it might have been Riley was going to get his, or Logan was going to go off this night, or Ethan Sauter was going to go off this night, and we just rode whoever was hot. And then, you know, we preach defense and hard work, and we can, you know, if you show up and play defense, you're going to be in every game you play, and that's what we counted on. And then we had enough talent that somebody was probably going to be hitting, and that was our mantra last year. And like I said, you keep winning. That makes a coach look really good.
That's right, buddy. Yeah.
They can't disagree with the results there. So, but yeah, like I said, again, I coach and we've been successful, but it's the kids we got here right now. They're winners. They prepare. They're great students. They're all around good kids.
Right. Well, and I can tell you this, and then Aaron, I'll let you go. Take the hammer. It's a chicken and the egg thing, right? Coaching kids, but I'm going to tell you this. I'll say this for you. You're a humble young man. I can tell this, and your kids are lucky to have you. Your parents know what kind of a coach and what kind of a mentor they have. The most influential people you'll meet growing up, other than your parents and your extended family, are going to be your coaches and teachers. And so when you have an opportunity to have the effect that you have on young men here at Lucas, you know, I'm going to tell you, man, I'm impressed with you and your program, and Coach Spittler and his program as well.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, especially coming from you. And like I said, there's a reason I do what I do, and it was because somebody made an impression on me.
That's right.
You know, and I grew up a coach's son, and like I said, that's why we do it, and it's all about the kids. But you know, real quick, I don't know if you know, but my coach, I had a freshman basketball coach at Lucas by the name of Andy Carver.
Oh, boy.
So I know you're aware of him. We had to get him on the air here.
That's right.
He's a good dude, and I knew you know him from Shelby. So
Andy's a good friend of mine. We actually teach right down the hall from each other. He's a good guy, and I'll tell you what, he has nothing but great things to say about his experience here. Oh yeah, he loves Lucas. I mean, this is his second home. His wife's from Lucas, so you know, he's related through marriage to your Gossam, you know, to the Gossam young man there that you've got, who's one heck of an athlete. Which, by the way, his cousin Grant, I let Grant know the best athlete in the family resides down in Lucas. It ain't in Shelby.
Well, like I said, it's a small world, and like I said, it's all good people, and like I said, it's I appreciate all that you guys do, and all the OH.REPORT and WMAN, all the coverage we get. Like I said, it's well deserved because of our kids and everything they do, but we're fortunate. You know, you go around to these different, we travel all over the place, like I said, and they don't have the support and the coverage that we have, and like I said, we're definitely appreciative of everything that you guys do. Heck, you're staying here in the pouring rain and doing this.
Because of you,
we're actually not in the pouring rain because of you.
And I'm going to get to that, but if you're just joining us, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock, heavy rain falling here at Bob Wine Field. We are in a holding pattern, and we hope to have football tonight. We hope to kick off by 9. Taylor Eisman, athletic director at Lucas, joining us. Cubs and Independence Blue Devils. We hope to have it tonight. Now, could you run through the scenario real quick? When we get to 8:30, if there's any type of lightning or thunder that would start this after 9, does it sound like we would come back tomorrow then?
Well, we had conversations with the coaches, and we kind of said 8:30 would be the time we'd reconvene, take a look at everything, and then try and make a decision. Like I said, we'll put it up to the coaches and Independence. Ultimately, they're the ones that got to drive. So, I mean, I think the officials said they could come back tomorrow. Obviously, we got the Buckeyes game, so that's on everybody's mind. We'll have to be cognizant of that. But I think Independence has a tournament soccer game as well tomorrow, so that'll be something we have to, you know, just be cognizant of and be aware of. So we'll figure it out. But like I said, it doesn't look real promising here, and the radar was showing that. So we'll see. Maybe it comes or gets through a little quicker, and we think we can do it, then we'll try. But we'll see what this new surface is all about. Like I say, we put a bunch of money in this year, and
it looks beautiful.
A bunch of drainage, and
well,
we'll see what it can do.
If you would talk to us about that, and how much did not playing home early kind of help things kind of settle in? If you would kind of walk through what you guys did this summer.
Yeah, it's a, like I said, a cool place anyways, but the surface was overdue. With playing a lot of home games and playoff games, it just got ate up. So I think we played at Madison a couple years ago, a playoff game, because it was just, we couldn't do it. So they came in, we peeled the surface, there was drainage, they brand new sod, everything down. We were, planning on hosting Clear Fork that first week, and it was going to be ready to go, and then we moved everything on the road, and then we got over there and we stood that night in the pouring down rain and a delay, and I was like, I'm glad we're not at home tonight, tearing up the brand new surface. So we played JV games and middle school games on it this year. It's held up pretty good. There's still some spots. It's still going to come in better, over the next few years, but it's like I said, it's a lot better surface. It'll drain a lot better, and it looks pretty good, but like I said, I think it'll just continue to get better.
And inside the Cub Cave got a paint job, right?
Yeah. We redid the gym floor in there, and it's looking pretty nice. So
you got to do a little something for yourself.
Exactly. I can't show any bias there. But like I said, the kids have earned it, and they deserve to have nice things. We've worked hard and a lot of success, and so it's good that we can take care of them and have nice facilities. So it was good thing to do. It was needed.
Taylor Eisman, Athletic Director. Last thing, we want to say thank you. I know from the OH report as well, because without you and Bob Lewis, the IT guy here, we would not be here. Everybody knows, tough place to get a signal to broadcast, but you guys have hooked us up. I know he hooked me up last year in the gym. I was able to broadcast a basketball game. Hopefully a bunch coming up this winter as well. But thank you very much for all your work. And on top of that, the tent, too.
Yeah.
Well, and finishing that up, I'm glad to be here as well, just because this is such a cool setting. But I love it because you guys have done what it's take to bring the product to the people that can't be here. This year, this stuff's really important for basketball. You're going to be in it coaching and doing the X and O and getting your kids going, but he's bringing that to people that can't be here. So from a media standpoint, we all appreciate it, because without you guys making the proper accommodations, there's a lot of people that wouldn't be able to see the Cub, the Cub football, basketball, or whatever it is.
And like I say, we're blessed. You come to one of our games, it's a packed house, and say it's a little different this year with the capacity issues, but like I said, I would have been scared if we'd had to play that week one here, because I heard there was going to be tree stands and people coming out of the woods. And, so like I said, at least there was a little bit of time for them to get used to the fact that it is what it is. But yeah, like I say, this has been great this year. Now I don't want people to get too comfy at home watching on TV. We got to get those ticket gates back.
Yes, correct.
To have the surfaces and the gyms painted, we got to make a little money too. But no, like I said, it's been good this year. I'm just glad that we're back doing it.
Yes.
It just sucked sitting at home doing nothing.
Absolutely.
There was no sports to watch at home while we were at home, and like I said, to be back here with the kids and have them out there and say you only get so many years of doing it. We get to sit and watch and do it all, but you only get to play so many times or so many years. So just to have them back out here, that's the important thing.
Yeah, there's only so many times you can watch the Michael Jordan 10-part series or the Big Ten Network playing replays of games.
Yep, exactly right.
Well, Taylor Eisman, we thank you for coming up. I know as we are about at 8:15, I know you're going to go have some more conversation. So if you would keep us up to date on that. But thank you so much for all your hospitality here tonight.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
it. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Again, that is Taylor Eisman. That is the athletic director, boys basketball coach here. Okay, thank you. He will send us a text message, and we will let everybody know here tonight what is happening at Bob Wine Field. Well, right now, the rain is falling. We've seen some thunder. We've seen some lightning. So here's what we'll do. We'll step aside. It is now exactly 8:14. Normally you would be listening to the Pediatric Consultants High School Football Game of the Week on WMAN. Pediatric Consultants of Ashland and Mansfield, offering comprehensive care with in-person or telehealth visits. Learn more at OhioPediatricians.com. And we hope to bring you football tonight. As I say that, the rain's starting to slow down a little lightning now in the distance.
Well, and here's the funny part about this. It's 8:14, 8:15 right now. 8:14. Lucas would be about halfway through the third quarter, maybe almost going into the fourth quarter if they had control of this game. You know what they do? You know, they take 8-minute drives and just eat the clock off to punch one in. And so, you know, we'd almost be finishing the game, and it's funny we haven't even started it yet. What a classy individual.
Always good people. Always good people.
I mean, since we have been here, we have had people falling all over themselves to help us.
Yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, and I'll say this: there's a lot of great ADs and help throughout North Central Ohio. We're blessed. But I'll say this here: I mean, we have people coming up and talking to us, just fans, just happy to be a part of the, iHeartRadio, OH.REPORT.
Absolutely.
They're just very appreciative of the local coverage, and it makes you want to cover them because they appreciate it so much.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we break away, I'll just give you a quick story. So I'm, getting ready for work this morning at home, and I send a text to Taylor Eisman, hey, how are we looking for, kind of some sort of awning so we don't get wet tonight with all of our equipment. And Taylor says, we got you guys. We're going to have a 3-sided tent. And I'm like, okay, great. He sends me a text message of what we're in around noon, and I relayed it to you, Erik. And, I mean, what they did for us is incredible. Not only the Ethernet, we pull up and Bill Zierzo offers to help us carry our equipment. I mean, just the hospitality we've received is absolutely tremendous. But I do want to mention Richland County, Ashland County, all the schools that we work with are so good to the media and helping us out to be able to broadcast. I mean, they really will do anything they can. With the way technology has gone, Internet, Ethernet has kind of been the way to bring you live sports. And I'll tell you what, schools are so good about helping us, and I really can't thank them enough.
Well, and I know the last year and a half, 2 years, you and I have talked about wanting to get to Lucas to call a game, and it's nice because with this type of technology now, this can become a reality. This doesn't have to be something that's for a special event or when they go to a neutral field. Now we can actually cover them, and because they're worthy of being covered. I mean, they move the radar, man. They also win football games. Bottom line is winning brings eyes. And so when you've had this type of success they've had, especially the last 5 to 7 years, come on now, you got to get yourself down here. And I'm glad Coach Eisman said, this is great for this year, but we need to get the bodies back in the stands because high school revenue through football is very important to help fund a lot of the other sports.
And if you're curious, this is the 7th straight year Lucas is in the football playoffs, and as soon as you roll into town, you're in Cub country.
That's right, buddy.
As soon as you
right
roll
in the middle of town, man. They're going to let you know.
We're going to step aside. Aaron Hines, Erik Will, WMAN, iHeartRadio tonight, bringing you the high school football game of the week, presented by Pediatric Consultants of Ashland and Mansfield, teaming up with our good friends at the OH Report this evening. We hope to have football, so here's what we'll do. We will come back at 8:30 because somewhere in that ballpark we're probably going to have some kind of a decision because any type of lightning or thunder could push us till after 9 o'clock for a start, and they may postpone. So we'll be back in a little less than 15 minutes and have an update. Currently a weather delay as we await the Division VII Regional Quarterfinal between the 5-2 Lucas Cubs and the 6-1 Independence Blue Devils. We'll be back in just a few minutes. You're listening to high school playoff football in a weather delay on WMAN.
At Bo Lacey Construction, they understand that finding the right company for your home improvement needs can be very stressful. The professionals at Bo Lacey Construction can help alleviate that stress. Quality materials, professional employees, and they offer great financing options along with 1 year of interest-free financing. So now is the very best time to get those energy-saving new windows, insulation, and vinyl siding installed. Call Bo Lacey Construction at 866-266-9916.
We are uniting Park National's family banks under one name to serve you more.
This bank's about service to the community. I mean, your customers become your family, and by and large, you become their family.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it, Daisy the Doodle says thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff football.
Kissel's Lawn Care. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
the Pediatric Consultants High School Football Game of the Week. It is 8:30, and we are currently still in a weather delay, and Lucas and Independence hope to play football tonight, but we're kind of getting to that time of the evening where a decision will be made soon. If you're just joining us, this game was slated, like others, for a 7 o'clock kickoff, and right before 7, the teams were kind of walking out onto the field and then started to kind of funnel off the field, and we got the announcement this game was going to be in a delay because of impending weather that was kind of off to our north, and light rain right now. We've been in a delay for 90 minutes. We've had some thunder, we've had some lightning, but I think as of now, most of the really nasty stuff has kind of been to our north.
Right.
However, there has been lightning and thunder in the distance, so we are still in a delay, and Taylor Eisman, the athletic director and basketball coach, was just up here. Probably spent a good half hour up here, I think.
Yeah, he talked to us for quite a while. It was fun.
He's going to give us an update shortly on what they're going to do. What we were told is when they got to 8:30, there would be a decision made because they want to start this game at 9 o'clock, according to some of the coaches. But anytime you have thunder or lightning, and I just saw lightning
that's not good, Aaron.
right now after 8:30, which means this thing would now technically start after 9 o'clock. So I would think we're going to have a decision in the next few minutes. So we'll just keep it live with you here, WMAN and the OH Report as well. It's interesting because we're in the playoffs. It does feel like we're in the playoffs, even though I feel like we should be in Week 9 of the regular season. It's a different year, but to me, what's unfortunate about tonight is you're Lucas, you get out here, you're Independence, you're getting warmed up, you're ready to go, Erik, and then you got to shut it down. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a challenge. You got to think about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it mentally takes a toll. It physically takes a toll. You've prepared your body for right now. And you've prepared your mind for right now. So now, even right now, if they were to come out and play, there's a mental component to what's getting ready to take place, because now you're coming out and your body clock is also telling you, like, we're probably getting closer for bed than to start a game. I mean, I'm serious. Like, all those things matter. When people talk about mental toughness, that's the stuff they're talking about is how well can you handle change, and do you thrive in change? And with this situation here, potentially not kicking off till 9 or after, if that decision's even made here shortly. I would have to say this. If you're Independence, you've got probably an hour and 15-minute bus ride home. You're coming back tomorrow. We've got an Ohio State game we got to consider. I know that they said they have some type of a soccer tournament game they have to consider. There's just a lot of things that go in. You don't just move it. And you've also got other area games going on as well at that similar slot. So, a lot of things to consider when you decide to cancel a game. There's a lot of details being ironed out, and that might be what's going on. We might hear back from Taylor Eisman, and he might have all the details for us, so that way that we're not just saying the game's canceled. That we can relay to people what's going on.
And I thought it's interesting. He talked about Coach Spittler. He'll wait as long as it needs to play this one tonight.
Buddy.
And you love that. You think as a football coach, Erik, it's Friday. It's game night. I want to play tonight. I mean, I know if you have to, you come back tomorrow, but it's just that mind frame, isn't it? Football Friday night. You're supposed to play on a Friday. It's kind of tough to get ramped up, kind of shut it down, and then get ramped back up again, as we talked about.
Hey, this is what you do. So when you have an opportunity to play it and it's right in front of you, literally, they were walking their special teams out onto the field, and then, like you said, they kind of sashayed off there, and we were kind of like, what's going on? Then all of a sudden we kind of heard the lightning, and then you could see what was going on there. And here's the thing about it with the technology today, your trainers have a little instrument that they'll hold up and be able to say, hey, it's within so many miles, you've got to clear the field, and obviously for safety precautions, and then they clear people out as far as fans as well. Tomorrow, I think you said this earlier, tomorrow, we're expecting cold, but the weather should work with us. I just feel for the people that put all of this together. Even like us being here tonight with the OH report, there was time that was put into this. We were going to be able to put together a good product, I think, for people, and the entire product may not be able to be offered the same way tomorrow.
I do have an update from Madison, not from here yet, but John Davis is telling me that game between Mansfield Senior and Madison did get started, and they played a bulk of the first quarter. There's 3:18 left at Ram Field. It is scoreless, but it's now raining as hard than at the start it is now. So I think for a lot of people, you're kind of in that holding pattern, and this is where I always think of Major League Baseball. You have that decision, okay, how long are you going to wait? You think about postponing. Now you think about a team traveling over an hour. They got to come back. They have a soccer game. And not that you always look at Ohio State football, but it's the first game of the year. There's so much excitement. There's only 8 of these, and there could be 9 for a Big Ten championship. So there's a lot of things to weigh and consider, Eric. It's not just, hey, it doesn't look good, we'll come back tomorrow. There's a lot of things that you have to weigh as an athletic director in this kind of decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And even thinking about East Knox and Shady Side, I know the OH Report's covering that tonight.
Are they in a delay?
And they're in a delay right now. I mean, think about Shady Side. I mean, that might be over a 2-hour drive. I'm not exactly sure about the logistics of that, but I mean, it's got to be more than an hour and a half. And so, teams like that definitely want to get in. And like you said, it's kind of interesting. When you look at the dynamics of this year with COVID, after week 6, week 7 now becomes playoffs. Everybody gets in, but now we're settling into the teams that are probably playoff caliber teams. So the matchups get tighter, the games get tighter, the game planning, all of those things are now under a microscope. And how well have you prepared your players? I was just reading an article, or maybe I even saw a tweet or something like that, where Northmont, I think it was Clayton Northmont, down in the Dayton area, they had to cancel their season. I think they had a couple kids test positive with COVID. You're talking about a team that had an opportunity to make a run in the tournament. Now that's vanished. It's over. So that's the type of trust me, if you're Lucas and Independence, you want to get this game in, because who knows what's going to happen. I mean, literally, this thing is so fluid. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, I'm glad you bring that point up. And if you're just joining us via WMAN, iHeartRadio, or on the OH Report, we are currently in a weather delay. Independence, Lucas, hoping to play football tonight. We have not gotten started. This game was... it was dry. We saw clouds. We were 40 seconds from kickoff, and everybody left the field. And we've had some rain, some thunderstorms. We're hoping to play tonight. We'll have an update. Just saw lightning again, so if you reset the clock, it's 9:07, the earliest we could start again. But I think about it like this, something you brought up, and I chat with coaches, probably 5-6 coaches every single week. Sean Adams, Mansfield Senior's defensive coordinator, who's just a great guy, loves football. The statement he says after every interview, love to be playing another week with our kids, because the future, it's not guaranteed. You don't know, hey, next week it's going to happen, whether win or loss, or whether something with the pandemic could change things. But there's something to be said about taking every week and enjoying your coaches say enjoy every bit of that win before you move on to that next game. You truly are doing that this season.
Oh, I think so. This has been the most unique year in my life, and I think maybe ever. I mean, just from the standpoint of literally not knowing each week that something may be, well, I guess you can argue whether it's outside of your control or not as far as how you get it, stuff like that. But you know what I mean, Aaron, as far as, because there is a little bit of the human element here where, kids are going to be kids. They're going to hang out with friends. They're going to do the social thing. That's what human beings do. And whereas you're seeing at the college level, maybe even more so than even the pro level, where they've almost bubbled themselves. I mean, if you're Ohio State, I would be willing to bet almost all their players are taking online classes. They're probably not seeing girlfriends. I'm serious, because they want to get their season in. I mean, that's, they realize, wait a minute, I've got about 8 games, 2 months to get as much football in as I can. And once that comes and goes, they don't want to take a chance of having any type of suspension. And I think a lot of college football teams are doing that. Even talking to Brennan about Virginia, we had a couple guys test positive, I think, a week or 2 ago. They were able to keep it pretty minimal to contact tracing with their units and stuff like that. But, I mean, think about that, amplifying that in the high school level, where these guys are going back home to their families. They have social gatherings. They've already had a lot of, most people, pretty much everybody's had homecoming canceled. A lot of those things that we take for granted this year, they've just been kind of vanished. And, so when you're looking at situations like this, I mean, if you're a team like Shelby, East Knox, Danville, Ashland, just thinking about something, Lucas, you do not want to take this for granted, because I'm telling you, it could be a Wednesday and boom, it's gone.
Great point to make. Is 8:40. We're awaiting news, hopefully soon. As again, we see lightning off in the distance. There's nothing really close or super close to Bob Wine Field, but you can see some of that lightning off in the distance. No rain really falling right now. I do see a few cars heading out of the parking lot. And part of that is we just don't know when we could play here this evening. I think we just saw a little.
Well, that's so far off to the
little more
east.
lightning.
That's not working this way. Yeah, I really do believe the worst of it's behind us.
Right.
I think when even looking at the radar, I looked at the radar right before we went on, and it does look like it's working that way. I really think if they would actually be patient and go about another 15, 20 minutes, I think we could probably get close to kicking this baby off. Now, whether or not they want to do that, it's not on our watch. It's going to be on the ADs and coaches.
Well, and I think you're going to get to a point for Independence where you have to say, okay, we get
right.
And I thought it's going to be in this window. Maybe it's 9 o'clock. Maybe we get to 9 o'clock. There's still lightning. They don't want to start after 9:30. So we'll wait. We'll find out. We'll talk some football here tonight. Aaron Hines, Erik Will, WMAN, along with the OH Report, bringing you hopefully high school playoff football tonight from Bob Wine Field. 5-2 Lucas again, playing host to the 6-1 Independence Blue Devils. Winner would take on either Latonia or McDonald. And the interesting part of it is, and I couldn't keep Taylor too much longer, the football team, if beat McDonald last year, and I think Brian was telling me was it a 2-point conversion?
Yeah.
It was something at the end where, Lucas, just pulled one out at the end to win that game. But what's funny, they beat them in the playoffs. Then they met them in the regional semifinals in basketball up at the Canton Fieldhouse. They had a kid named Zach Rozelle. He scored like 50 in the previous game, and Carson Hogger played some insane defense on him and held him maybe to around 20 or so, which is pretty good for a kid to score 50.
Right.
But what's interesting is, those two schools nowhere near one another, but they're kind of starting to meet here in the postseason a bit in football and basketball.
Well, I know that with the OH report, we do a lot of predictions, and we wanted that matchup. We would like to see that next week just because of that. There is a little bit of a rivalry. I know McDonald has a really nice football tradition as well. They've been very successful. A lot of good athletes for a small school rolling through there. So, if you'd get an opportunity to see that matchup here again next week, how cool would that be? But we're seeing some guys walk on the field. Now, I don't know if these are the officials or what, but we're seeing some people walk around on the field checking it out. But I do believe that the Thunder and Lightning is to our east. It's working away. I don't think we're that far away potentially from playing football. I think if they'll hold off another 15, 20 minutes, I think we can get this baby in.
I'm watching them check the footing around the 35, 40-yard line. Maybe they had a hand in the field. They want to make sure everything's A-okay here. Huh?
Right. Well, and it's funny, when Taylor was talking about the field, someone had said, oh, it looks great. Someone had said, man, should Lucas, why you're getting new turf, why wouldn't you get the synthetic stuff? And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Coach Spitler, he wants this baby to be nice and saturated, man. There's too much water per square inch and foot being shoveled out of a turf field. This right here, this is going to accumulate some water. He wants those 21-7 W's, man.
And the other thing, again, if you're just joining us again, 8:43, if you just tuning the radio back on, on the live stream on the OH Report, in a holding pattern, weather delay, we hope to bring you football tonight. Lucas and Independence, Division VII Regional Quarterfinal here from Bob Wine Field. The thing you bring up with Lucas, and anybody here will tell you, it wasn't that long ago when you think basketball and football, maybe they were struggling for a while. Now look at the run they've been on, and look at what they've done in football. 7 straight years, you and I all play football, and the bottom line is they just know how to win. They're tough kids, as you talked about, but they just find a way to win no matter what sport it is.
Yeah, they're just really nice high school athletes. And more importantly, attitude trumps any deficiencies that you may have. Don't get me wrong. If you got dudes that can play, you got dudes that can play. You know what I mean? The bottom line is, whether it's basketball, getting the ball in the hoop and playing great team ball, or on football field, I think their style of play embodies selflessness, because you essentially have 10 guys literally blocking for one most of the time in a 10-yard box. But, even thinking about basketball, everybody knows their role. Athletes struggle in 2020 to understand their role and to star in that role. That's something that we used to talk about a lot in our coaching staff. When you have a lot of good athletes, and Lucas does. Lucas has, you look at the Nicewander kid last year, he spent half the time blocking.
And he could throw it 50 yards down
Yeah, that's
the
what I'm
field.
saying. I mean,
right.
listen, there's a lot of times that parents or kids would be like, I'm transferring. I'm out of here. I'm going to go to a place where I can throw the ball 30 times a game. And he said, nope, I'm a Lucas Cub. I'm committed to here. I've been born and raised here, and I want to play football, and I want to do it the right way, and I want to do it the Lucas Cub way. And, you know, he's still getting some of his college paid for. I know that. I believe he's over at Ashland right now.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, it's still worked out for him. But just I appreciate the selfless mindset that comes with that, because kids, and I don't think it's everywhere, but it you know, there's always, you know, as we used to say back in the day, there's always an uncle that knows more than the coaches or the people around the program. And for kids to buy into a way of life and a culture, that's the true textbook definition of culture when people use it in sports, is what you have here at Lucas, where your best athletes are your hardest workers, and they are also your most selfless players.
Good stuff. Erik Will, Aaron Hines with you tonight. Again, we are in a holding pattern, and I guess we've kind of turned it into a sports talk show this evening,
buddy.
I guess. Here from Bob Wine Field, some leaves, some rain falling right now,
Got
lightning off into the distance. And again, I would assume in the next 14 minutes we are going to have a definite answer for you by 9 o'clock. So we'll keep it here until we get to 9 o'clock, and then we should have a decision whether we will have football tonight or they'll postpone until tomorrow. But I do want to remind you, we will have football for you on the radio tomorrow night on My 100. Shelby will entertain Oberlin Firelands, and that's a matchup where, you know, I haven't seen any film of Firelands, but they're a team that likes to run the football. And for the Whippets, I know that defense right now is, I'll kind of quote you, that defense has some swagger going right now. They're really playing well on the defensive side.
Yeah, they're playing really well. I mean, they're giving up less than 2 scores a game, 2 touchdowns anyways a game. And here's the thing about it. When you look at an Oberlin Fireland, they want to run the football. When they pass, they become very formation tendency heavy. We'll see that tomorrow. When they go spread, you're pretty much guaranteed you're looking at a passing situation. They kind of want to run a little bit by committee. They'll do a little pistol. They'll do a lot of 12 personnel, meaning sometimes they'll have a back with 2 tight ends. Sometimes they'll have a tight end and 2 backs. It's a little bit more old school football, Aaron. It's what you would expect to see with the eye or the offset eye and things like that. But I just, you know, I know that statistically they want to run the football. I think they're like 75% run. So if they're really good at it, we'll see how it turns out tomorrow. I find it hard to believe you're just going to line up and just for 4 quarters, you know, like take Shelby up and down the field.
I talked to Rob Mahaney, the Whippets coach, about it this week. We'll have it on the pregame tomorrow night. He told me they don't run, as you mentioned, what Lucas runs, but he told me playing a run-heavy Lucas team a few weeks ago does help them, in a way, prepare for maybe some of what they're going to see tomorrow night.
Absolutely. And listen, when you play a style of ball like Lucas, defensively, you go into that week and you're telling your kids, listen, this is not a glamour week. This isn't the week where you get to see athlete on athlete out in space and guys are, you know, can you tackle someone in space? They want to try to shorten the game. They want to try to put their foot in the ground and get vertical, and they're perfectly comfortable with 3 to 5 yards in a play, which most places are. But you know what I mean. There's a difference between saying, hey, we're just fine with 3-4 yards of play and developing an offense that truly says we're fine with, you know, 2 to 3 yards of play. And, you know, Coach Mahaney's right. Lucas has prepared them for this type of schedule. And I'm going to tell you what, if they want to get to the regional final, and let's assume Bellevue gets there, Bellevue ain't throwing the football, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what they do. They're going to run Ray. They're going to run a few other guys as well. But Ray, that quarterback, like I said, there's a younger Ray too. There's like another, like a freshman or sophomore Ray as well. And so when you get to Bellevue, you're talking 75, 80% run. Here's the thing there, though. They are really good at that. They live in that world just like Lucas does, and they are a perennial power. They are, you know, they went in that SBC Lake with Norwalk, Sandusky, Tiffin, Perkins, Clyde, and they won it and didn't lose a game. So you know Bellevue's a pretty darn good football team.
Well, as you bring that up, and again, we await a weather delay here at Lucas. Cubs and Independents hoping to play football. We hope to bring you some news whether we will play tonight or whether we're going to postpone, so we'll wait on that in a moment. Since you brought up a Shelby possibly matchup with a Bellevue, and I'm bringing that up because those are the 1-2.
Right.
The OHSAA early when the tournament started had mentioned that when teams got to the regional final, they would maybe have a neutral site. Well, they came out this week and made a statement that it sounds like the top seed or the higher seed would have the option to host the regional final. So Lucas, the 2 seed, they would be able to host unless they played the 1 seed when you get to a regional final. Same thing for Shelby. And I know state semifinals and state finals will be at a neutral site, but I haven't heard where those necessarily will be. I haven't heard Canton. I don't know.
No, I don't think it's been announced yet. I think some will be, but they've already said they're going to definitely spread out the Final Fours and the state championship games. I don't think they're even going to be just held at 2 facilities. It's kind of interesting because, I love the old NOL matchups of, Bellevue Shelby, and looking at, let's say Lucas, let's say it goes chalk. JFK wins, Lucas wins. Can you imagine? JFK is like on the other side of Warren. You know what I mean? It's clear over by Youngstown, Akron. Yeah. So, I mean, from here, that's got to be – that's a hike. That's got to be a 2.5 hour drive, I would think.
But we both know the Cubs don't matter where they play.
No, it doesn't matter. But if JFK has an opportunity, they probably want to host that game.
Absolutely.
Why give up that home game? If I'm Bellevue and I go chalk, I go all the way through, and you're playing Shelby, you want them going up to the old, Bellevue Athletic Field, that BAF as they call it out there.
Pretty nice.
Oh, it's a beautiful stadium. And I'll tell you what, a little bit of home cooking. You want to do things that are in your stadium that you're very familiar with, and I really do believe that talent and game planning and coaching and all of those things are equators. You know what I mean? Like it'll even itself out, as you would say. But if you're looking at Shelby, they're probably, if they get to there, they're going to have to make that trip to Bellevue. We got somebody coming up. We're going to see what happens here. Come on in.
Yeah,
all right.
We're on the air. Do you have any update or anything?
Well, one of the guys from their team just came in and he said that they're still both wanting to have it happen.
Okay, right.
They're trying to kind of lean into 9 and see what happens.
Okay.
No earlier than 7. If you play tomorrow, we're going to play 7 p.m.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. Bill Zerzo coming up to give us. The treehouse was shaking, so I knew somebody was on the move.
That's what I love about this place. There's no sneaking out of here. This is one of those places, if you were a kid trying to sneak out late at night, this thing's going to wake the parental units up, baby. You're going to get called out. There's no doubt about that. There's no creeping to steal a Oreo in the night.
We didn't have Bill on mic, so I'll repeat what he told us. They hope to play football here tonight. However, as we get a little bit toward 9 or a little after 9, if they're not able to kind of start this thing, and it's not looking real good because I'm seeing some lightning in the distance. If they can't, it sounds like it would be tomorrow, and kind of sounds like they might lean toward a 7 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night, which would mean you would have your Ohio State Buckeyes game all done and be able to come out for another high school football game tomorrow night. So, But I know there are other games around the area tomorrow night, too. So that's tough because I know for a lot of people we were really excited to bring you the game live on the radio, OH.REPORT as well, and I know everybody will have a decision to make if they can come back tomorrow night, but we'll wait and see. But that's what's unfortunate because I was so excited. Our first ever broadcast from Bob Wine Field. But you know what? We're going to be back many, many more times.
Well, and here's the thing. If I'm going to be in a rain delay, Aaron, or more importantly a lightning delay, where else would you rather be?
Hey, nobody takes
setting, hanging out with great friends here from the OH.REPORT. I'm just telling you. I mean, you got these beautiful fall colors out here. It's autumn out here.
You got food?
Yeah. How about them bringing food? I don't know if we can get this here. I'm going to hold this up. I mean, they're bringing us conies. I mean, literally, there's a chunk of coney there. We got coney here.
You ate out of both bags.
Yeah, right? I did eat out of both bags. I apologize. That's just straight up neglect from my part.
It was a mistake.
Yeah, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to double dip there, as they would say, a little Seinfeld reference there. But look at this. We've got nature coming in. Look at this. We have a nature. I mean, it's right there.
Bottled water, sanitizer, we got everything.
Yeah, we got it all. That's right. We've been squirting up here, taking care of each other right there, making sure that, we're staying nice and fresh here on the hands. But, no, in all seriousness, this has been
it's been really good.
The hospitality's been fantastic. We're just, we're missing the component that we would all like to see right now, which is the game. And man, who knows, man? Maybe we'll get a nice little surprise, and they'll go ahead and say, you know what, let's go ahead and do this. And you and I will be the first people in North Central Ohio that call a game past midnight.
I was actually thinking that if we don't start soon, we probably will start on Friday and end on Saturday.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I've ever done that before.
Yeah.
So that would be definitely a first, our first broadcast here from Bob Wine Field. So we're approaching 9 o'clock, 8:55, and we'll kind of await news from Taylor Eisman here momentarily. Live radio, live streaming as well at its finest as we're basically waiting to see. Because I'm looking out right now, and I know we've seen a little bit of lightning here, a little bit of thunder there, but we haven't seen a whole lot of rain here recently at Bob Wine Field, which is probably a really good thing.
Yeah, which tells you the front's pretty much at least pushed most of its way through. Just a few lightning strikes there off way in the distance there. So I really believe that's what pushed the decision. The original decision was by 8:30 we're making the decision if we don't play by 9 we're out of here. I think they're looking at the radar and seeing this is actually moving quickly out of here, and they realize there's nothing coming behind it. If you're looking at the radar and you see something else is coming, you'd probably be really quick. You're a little bit more likely to pull the trigger quickly.
Only thing coming behind it is some Canadian Arctic air, I believe.
Yes, Canadian Arctic air. I'll tell you what, I may have to wear a toque tomorrow. Well, I like to wear a toque. That's Canadian. He educated me my very first year, last year, working the full year. The toque, it's a Canadian phrase, correct?
Yes. Everybody here calls it a stocking hat.
Right.
My wife, Canadian.
Right.
You've met my wife.
Yes.
I think she wore a toque to a football game.
That's right.
That's
right. That's right.
And she kind of set you straight. Erik, it's not called a stocking hat. It's called a toque.
And I've called it that ever since, even at home.
Right. Our good friend Rick Durkin, who's manned the board for years, he will call it nothing but a toque because Kelly told him it's a toque.
Well, and here's how cool this is. I was watching Jeopardy probably a month or two ago, and that was a reference. There was actually a toque question on that, and we got it right. And my kids were blown away. They're like, how did you know that? And I said, the question is, how did you not know that? Our friends to the north, the Canadians, that's what they call that.
T-O-Q-U-E.
Yeah.
Toque. So there you go. I know you'll have that on tomorrow night. We may need gloves tomorrow night at Skyhouse Field.
We'll see.
It's going to be chilly tomorrow night.
Yeah.
All right, 8:57. You're listening to WMAN Mansfield, WMAN FM Fredericktown. We await word as we're still in a weather delay. Lucas and Independence getting set for high school playoff football tonight. Division VII Regional Quarterfinals. Cubs checking in tonight with a record of 5-2. Independence 6-1. And the thing that and we just saw a nice big lightning strike.
Yeah, but it's clear over in West Virginia.
Well, okay, I got a question. Since we're on weather, is there a such thing as it's far enough in the distance it's okay?
Yeah,
is that
the train,
a real thing?
Yes, there is. I guarantee there is a trainer, somebody here, a team doctor has a device that can literally track those.
It's far enough away and moving away.
Yes, and if it's far enough away, I can't remember if it's 6 miles, 8 miles, whatever it is, but there is a distance. And once it's outside of that, because there are times you might see something way off and people kind of get antsy, but if it stays far enough away, if it doesn't hit the unsafe distance,
if it doesn't ping.
Yes, correct. If it doesn't ping, but I'm telling you, there are people over there checking it out.
All right, I'm glad there's people all over that. So the point I wanted to bring up, and we hope again to get an update for you shortly, and we're hoping to have a decision. One of the things I was looking forward to coming into this game, we talked about, the Lucas offense and how well they run, but how hard it is to prepare. Just from hearing Coach Rick Adams, who's the coach of Independence, we had him on in our pregame, just to talk about how hard that is to simulate, get your kids ready. I think about that because, Erik, their coach was telling me, you don't simulate that. You don't ever see that guy. I mean, that's a big advantage for Lucas when they come out to play a football game. What they do, not many teams do, and they do it really, really well. And I talked about it earlier. It wears on you over the course of the evening.
Well, not only that, but you have a hard time simulating it, but it also requires your defensive line. You want to talk about leverage? People talk about hand placement and leverage, right? Well, if you don't play low with great hands, there is no way you're going to hang with Lucas. Actually, if you don't play low, you're going to get blown off the ball, and you're guaranteed 2 to 3 yards. If you don't play low with bad hands, you're also going to be giving up. That's when you get the big gashers. That's when you get the 20 and 30 yard or the big runs from a Sauter or somebody like that. Prepping for this game and looking at Lucas's stats, I love how it's just balanced all
It's
the
not
way
one
across.
guy,
No,
right.
it's not, and they take their turns, and it's a lot like last year. They had their stars, and I really believe stars come out of winning. Sometimes people want these individual accolades, and there's nothing wrong with individual accolades, but the individual accolades, the highest honors, are going to go to the teams that are the best, the teams that win. When you win, we have to give credit to individuals, and so what happens is you have a lot of people who sometimes may have been off the radar but get recognized because when your team's winning ball games, we got to give credit.
All right, so we are going to hang for just a moment. Now, we've been talking for a good 25 minutes straight with you here this evening, and we're hoping to get word here since I don't want to break away at 9. We may get word, and then we'll step aside, and hopefully we'll have football for you tonight between Lucas and Independence. And, Erik, if people aren't familiar with the scenario, how much time roughly will they give them to warm up if we were indeed to get going? Will they give them a good half hour, 20 minutes? I mean, do you know the exact time? I can't remember the last time we had a restart.
Well, what would happen is they're probably going to give them 15 to 20 minutes, I would assume. They're not going to give them a full warm-up, but they'll get 15 to 20 minutes. Heck, I mean, maybe even 10, who knows.
Just to get a bit of a lather going.
Right,
you know what I mean?
and they might even have the ability to stretch wherever they're at now. But they'll put time on the clock. They'll give them an opportunity. They'll get the fans an opportunity to come back in as well. I'm not 100% sure on if there's a specific protocol and formal process for that part of the coming back. But I do know this, that they're going to have to warm up. I mean, I'm telling you got a bunch of 14 to 18-year-old young men from both schools that have just been kind of hanging out either on who knows, they could be on a bus or are they on a facility, where are they even at if you're.
For the last 2 hours.
Yeah, for the last 2 hours. So, we're up hanging out, as Brian says, in the tree house here. And I'm telling you, man, this thing moves. There's no doubt about that. But if you're Lucas, you're probably in the locker room hanging out. But there's a lot of conversations. It can be idle conversations. Sometimes did you lose that mental focus that you had right before you came out and you're ready to play football? Now you got kids that are they out there playing Among Us? This is like a big game, Aaron. I'm telling you, I'm a teacher. I see this stuff at school every day. Kids sitting, they're playing this game Among Us. Have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
Have you heard of this? Among Us? Have you heard this? Yeah. So,
I am not up to date with the latest.
Oh, me neither. I'm not either, but I just know that kids, I mean, they love this stuff. You give them 5 minutes in class, just give them 5 minutes. They're like, can we play Among Us? I'm like, what are we doing? But I mean, the kids will find any type of game to occupy their time. I'm hoping they're not in there playing Among Us.
By the way, people are Googling right now.
Oh, I guarantee. You're right. They're probably adults going, could you type this in?
There's 2 things tonight they've learned from us: Among Us and Toque.
And Toque, that's right.
Those are the 2 things.
Yeah, if anybody in North Central Ohio says stocking cap or stocking hat ever again,
that's it.
You're going to have to answer to Aaron and, more importantly, his beautiful wife.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we have a coach out onto the field. I don't know if he's actually bringing us word or not, but no rain falling right now. I don't want to jinx anything and say no lightning or thunder. I saw some a little while ago. But we still don't have official word on the start of the game. Waiting on Lucas and Independence, Division VII Regional Quarterfinals, still in a delay. We've been in a weather delay for 2 hours and 3 minutes. Erik, when you were a head coach, did you have any lengthy delays, or back to your playing days in high school? Do you remember a lengthy delay where you had to kind of gear back up? Can you remember?
When I was a sophomore in high school, we had a pretty lengthy delay against Norwalk. I can remember that. That had been maybe the fall of '96. Yeah, fall of '96. And then as a head coach, no.
Okay.
As an assistant coach in Columbus, we had a couple. I remember we were playing Thomas Worthington. We were playing Worthington down in, down at their place, and I remember we had a big time delay. And I want to say we kicked off like at 9:30 or 10.
Okay.
So we had a guy talking there.
Yeah.
But
all I know is I saw one of the coaches kind of put his hands up like he didn't know. Brian, were you able to hear anything?
We're going to try in a half hour.
Okay. Okay.
Well, there you go. Hey, we might get some football in.
All right.
Put the Among Us away and get ready for some football. You're right, though. I guarantee there's a bunch of people. Or they're asking their kids, do you know of this game? And the kids are going to be like, no, I don't know what it is.
I have a toque. Yeah, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, well, so here's what we'll do. We'll step aside, and We'll come back, maybe take a 15, 20-minute break, unless there's news. We'll break into programming if there's news, but if not, what we'll do is we'll step aside. We'll send it back to regular programming on WMAN. And I know the OH.REPORT, you can keep up their stream as well, as we'll be checking back in to give you an update here tonight from Bob Wine Field, where we hope there will be football. There is light rain right now. The thunderstorms, the lightning look like they're really moving off into the distance. We haven't had any rumbles of thunder for the last quite while, and also the lightning looks like it's off into the distance. So hopefully football is around a half hour away. Now hang on, I think we have a message. Nope. That'd be my wife with the message. I don't think she has the update, so we'll step aside here. So we'll take a break and send you to regular programming. On the other side, we'll check in with some national news with NBC. And then on the other side, we'll join America Now, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes here tonight, hopefully, with high school playoff football here on WMAN and iHeartRadio, the Pediatric Consultants High School Football Game of the Week, as Lucas plays host to Independence in the boys' Division VII Regional Quarterfinal in high school football. We hope to have football in roughly a half hour, but again, we have nothing definite yet, but that's kind of what we overheard here up in the treehouse, as we call it. So we'll take a quick break, check in with national news, send you to America Now, and be back in probably 20 or so minutes, hopefully with another update here on News Radio WMAN.
At Bo Lacey Construction, they understand that finding the right company for your home improvement needs can be very stressful. The professionals at Bo Lacey Construction can help alleviate that stress. Quality materials, professional employees, and they offer great financing options along with 1 year of interest-free financing. So now is the very best time to get those energy-saving new windows, insulation, and vinyl siding installed. Call Bo Lacey Construction at 866-266-9916.
We are uniting Park National's family banks under one name to serve you more.
This bank's about service to the community. I mean, your customers become your family, and by and large, you become their family.
Customers do come in and they do feel like they're a part of our family, and they feel like they know us and we know them and we care.
Park National, our family of banks, all together now.
Auto Sales Mansfield is driving excitement. You asked for it, you got it. A 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty on all vehicles. A local veteran-owned dealership caring about the community, providing quality vehicles at rock-bottom pricing. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans of all makes and models. No bones about it. Daisy the Doodle says, thanks, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield, for making my first-time car buying experience simple. Located at 100 South Illinois Ave, A1 Auto Sales Mansfield is the dealership for you.
Stop in the Cub Cave Carryout in Lucas. Conveniently stocked with everything you need, and even a one-stop pet shop. Located on Ohio 39 in the heart of Lucas. Proudly supporting Cubs playoff football.
Kissel's Lawn Care. There's no job too big or too small for us to handle. With top-of-the-line equipment, we are guaranteed to complete your next landscaping job efficiently and professionally. A hard-working, dedicated team is what we take pride in, bringing to every job to make sure the results are the best they can be. So the next time you have a landscaping project that needs done, think smart and think Kissel.
Good evening once again, and welcome back to Bob Wine Field here in Lucas, as unfortunately we will not have high school playoff football tonight on WMAN and the OH Report because we are just now got official word that tonight's game has been postponed due to inclement weather, and they will come back and play this football game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So, Erik, it's very unfortunate, not only because people have been out here for a couple hours, but you feel like things are getting better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and they made it clear they felt like it wasn't necessarily either school. Maybe somebody from the OHSAA had said, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this tonight. Sometimes they'll do that if they feel like it's going to, if one team, if you play this game and by the time you get started it's 9:30 or 10 and the team might arrive back well after midnight, sometimes they'll shut you down. So that may have been the issue tonight. But regardless, tomorrow, 7 o'clock at night, right here, this game will take place. You and I will be in Shelby tomorrow, but the OH Report sounds like they're going to be here to bring you this game. So for all the Lucas fans out there, Independence fans, there might be some people even from north central Ohio who are checking this baby out. You'll be able to watch this tomorrow with Brian and his crew.
All right, so that'll be tomorrow night. OH Report will have the Lucas game for you at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Unfortunately, no football tonight due to inclement weather, but they'll play it again tomorrow between Lucas and Independence. Again, we, WMAN, actually will have Ohio State football tomorrow at noon, pregame 10:30, and then tomorrow night Erik and I will be over on My 100.1, and you can listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We'll have Shelby and Firelands pregame at 6. We'll kick it off at 7, and Brian can give us updates from down here. We can give Shelby updates from over there. We'll work with one another, and hopefully next weekend we're working with the OH Report again. And tell you what, I want to come back to the treehouse again. This is great, wasn't
that's
it?
What we said. We got to give Brian credit. Skronsky coined it that we were coming up, and it really is. It's cool. I've gotten used to it. It's kind of homey.
Cozy, yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I wanted to call it the Ice Cave as well. Maybe it could be the treehouse. The treehouse Ice Cave because it's white. It's just you're kind of nestled in here, and Taylor Eisman put it here, so it's the Ice Cave.
I love it. All right, well, that is going to do it for our broadcast this evening. I ought to let you know, Ashland and Norwalk were restarting, I believe I was told, just after 9:30. So that game OH Report has as well this evening, so you can check that out. And just unfortunate, no football tonight here from Lucas as the Cubs set to take on Independence. They will play this game tomorrow night, and it'll be at 7 o'clock again. OH Report will have it. We'll have Shelby and Oberlin Firelands on My 100.1. So thanks to Brian and the crew here. Erik, always
That's right, buddy.
Good chatting sports for a couple hours. Always good to hang out with you on a Friday, and we'll be back at it tomorrow night. So thanks again for listening tonight. The Pediatric Consultant High School Football Game of the Week on WMAN. Not able to go tonight due to inclement weather. Lucas Independence tomorrow will take place at 7 o'clock back here in Lucas. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow night from Shelby. Have a great Friday night, everyone.